Okay, what's your name?
My name is Clayton Forrest Kirkwood.
What is your job here?
I am the intake coordinator. My job is to help get men into the program, give them as much information about the program so that they can make the best possible decision on whether or not this is the place for them, or even if not.
Okay. How does Teen Challenge help, and how can we improve awareness in teens addiction?
So Teen Challenge helps not just have men and teenagers be clean and sober, but it helps the individuals that have suffered with addiction get to the root issue of why they make the choices that they make. And not just the choice to get high or to use drugs, but in all choices, whether that be in the lack of respect for authority, whether that be the way they choose to use the money they make, how to just be a trustworthy person. And being clean and sober is one of the goals, but it's to help men in all areas of life, and more importantly, become men of God.
What can Teen Challenge do to help a teen with an addiction?
So Teen Challenge can do many things. We have a facility in Oro Valley for teenagers, as well as we have facilities for men and women of all ages. But for the teenage facility specifically, it gives these individuals a place free from drugs and alcohol that may be around them from parents or uncles or friends. It gives them a safe place away from that. Also allows them to experience different things in life free from those drugs. And then, like I spoke about earlier, teach them other life lessons and why it's important to make good choices, well thought out choices in all areas of life, and not just worry about one little area.
How does this program work finance-wise, and how can I enroll?
So the financial side of the program, I can't speak for the teenage side, it's a bit different, but we'll go ahead and say for the men's side, there's a $1,500 intake fee and a $100 application fee. That $1,500, that covers all 13 months of the program. It covers food, it covers utilities, it covers room and board, so rent essentially. But more importantly, it covers all the growth that goes along with the program. Now, there are, in many instances, that individuals aren't able to pay that $1,500, that whether it be because of financial constraints with family or through their drug use, they've prioritized using all their money on drugs and they don't have it. We actually have scholarships to help men that can't afford that. We believe that everybody deserves a chance to change their life, and that the finances will be taken care of later, that what's more important is the life. And how to get enrolled. Somebody would get into contact with me as the intake coordinator and start to ask questions and see if this is what they would like to do. I then encourage them to come and take a tour of the facility. That is most of the time the most beneficial way for them to experience it and then make the decision, but not always. And then we have them fill out an application and go and get a couple of medical things looked at, blood work and a tuberculosis test, and then we can move forward.
What are the statistics of how this program helps people?
So there are a number of statistics that have been done by Northwestern University, which is out of Chicago, a very prominent university, and they've done this research on a number of different rehabs, not just Teen Challenge, but I'll speak about Teen Challenge. There's an 86% success rate. That is of men that have graduated the program and have continued to stay clean and sober for the next 5 years. And so 86%, which is when you compare to other rehabilitation programs, is just an amazing number. And the real difference is, God's work through the men's lives, and not just coming and spending time being clean and sober, but truly growing as a person.
What is the most effective way to encourage a teen to stay away from the dangers of drugs?
In my opinion, the best way is to meet it head on, but also with information coming from all areas of their life, whether it be the type of popular culture that is led into the house, with so many shows and movies that don't necessarily encourage drug use, but they don't have any problem saying that it's fun and it's cool, it's what all the cool people are doing, by having parents that do a decent job of regulating what comes in and out. That is one way meeting it head on, as well. Being wary of who, as a student, who you're hanging around with, and then in the schools, as there is a sex education class in many ways, and this is my opinion, that there also be some sort of a substance, not abuse class, but of different substances, even down to alcohol, tobacco. That way, whenever students are finishing up high school and they're going on to college, where a lot of addictions really can begin with recreational drug use and recreational alcohol use, they are better informed of the possible consequences if they continue to partake in that.
What is the best way to approach a friend with an addiction?
I think the best way is first evaluate the friend's personality and the relationship with this friend. Every person isn't gonna receive somebody telling them that drugs are bad in the same way. Some might need to be told by an authority figure in their life, a father. So a way to benefit him would be to tell his dad that he's using drugs, and then his dad, who he respects, can then come to him towards that. Some men that might have issues or relationship issues with their father or their families may be more apt to making a change with a friend coming in and saying, "Hey man, I love you and I care for you, and I'm really worried about where you're going in life." And then there's others that just need to be told the blunt truth that, hey, because of your choices in using drugs, it makes me not want to hang out with you, and I don't want to be around that, and I don't like the person that you are when you're on drugs. And so I believe that the best way to confront somebody is first by seeing what type of person they are, and knowing how they would best receive the talking to about drugs.
Okay, if you don't mind me asking, what has kept you away from drugs?
God, that's the main thing. I was raised in a good Christian home, and I've never been around anybody in my family that did drugs, and so for me to fall into it, it was by my own choices. And since coming to here, I have built a relationship with God. Before that, I had always just been going to church, and had only been going because it's what my family wanted me to do. I knew that the community that I lived in, if I went to church, then I was viewed at as doing all right. And so that was the main difference. And then through that, and what we talked about earlier, it taught me how to become a man of God, a productive member of society, and surround myself with people that weren't doing drugs, to keep myself from situations where I would have the opportunity to say yes to drugs. It's a lot easier to say no to drugs if you don't ever have to say no to drugs. The analogy that I like is, if you go to the barbershop every day, eventually you're going to get your hair cut. If you're around drugs every day, eventually you're more likely to use.
When you were talking about your family, how did your family deal with this?
In a very loving and supportive way. Even before I came to Teen Challenge, they were always very loving and supportive. They saw the problems in my life that I was causing myself. I was in a really bad car wreck when I was in college that introduced me to painkillers, and that's the road that I ultimately went down, was a painkiller addiction. And for a long time, their way of loving me was bailing me out every time I got in trouble financially, or I wore myself too thin with drugs, with alcohol, and what it ended up doing was enabling me, and it got to a point, and it was the hardest thing that they had to do, but they loved me enough to let me fall and hit rock bottom. And then whenever I was ready to change my life, that's whenever I decided to come to Teen Challenge. And so they handled it amazing. Once I came into the program, they were here every step of the way. I'm from New Mexico and Texas, and so they weren't physically here every Sunday for visits, but every phone call they were here. It was at the Phoenix Teen Challenge or up at the Christian Life Ranch, which is just north of Phoenix. Move on, we have our center director, David Walensky. He is the face of Teen Challenge. He is the one that goes out to all the corporate meetings, all the meetings with probation and the courts and whatnot. And he's a graduate too. His first day in the program was actually March the 1st, and that was 11 years ago. And a really cool thing about Teen Challenge is every single staff member that works here at the center, he has also graduated the program. We have our bookkeeping office here where all the finances take place, followed by our resources and development. You were talking earlier about how the finances are taken care of, and I spoke about the scholarships. If somebody doesn't have the money to come in, this is a department that they're going out throughout Tucson and going door to door and telling people about the program, but also raising funds for those that can't afford it. They also are at the Fry's grocery stores.
So in all, what is that all you do for like grocery stores, and like is there anything else you guys do?
No, we do a lot of other things. We have monthly sponsorships that families and individuals will send a monthly check into Teen Challenge. We also have these large banquets. We actually just had one in Sierra Vista last Friday, and we're going to have another one in Casa Grande this Friday, and then 2 Fridays from now we'll have one in Yuma. And Teen Challenge isn't just about helping people in Tucson and not just about helping people in Phoenix, but about helping people everywhere. And so that's a way that we're able to go get the word out that there is help for people that are struggling, but also to use it as a platform to do some fundraising. As we continue, you can tell we have a couple of different maintenance projects going on. Some of the funds that come in are also used for building remodeling. And so we have our maintenance guy. He is a graduate of the program as well. And so he is amazing. All the stuff that you'll be seeing here in a little bit, he's working on. For somebody that has graduated the program, they can either go back out into the world outside of Teen Challenge. We will help them get a job and a place to live, or they can stick around and do an internship. And so this is one of our intern rooms, and that's somebody that has chosen to stick around and do an unpaid position for the next 6 months and help men in the same way that they were helped. We have 36 beds here for men. Each room has 4 beds with the exception of one. One room has 8. We'll come in here and we'll check out one of the rooms. I'd like to step on in here. As you can see, there's 4 men, 2 room. Everybody will have their own closet space, their own another closet, and back here we'll have a bathroom. We're blessed here at the Tucson Center. Each room has its own bathroom, whereas the Phoenix Teen Challenge, they all share one big bathroom. And so we're really lucky here. This is also one of the very best rooms because this is the room that I was in, so it's blessed. Yeah. Any questions about in here?
I can't think of any.
All right. We will continue on. Another really cool thing about this place is all the staff members also live here, with the exception of our director and supervisor. And so me being one of those. This is my room. This is where I live. I am blessed. I get to live where all my best friends live, and it also gives me a chance to see if somebody's struggling, having a hard day away from family. I can go up to them and say, hey, what's going on? Or if they have a connection just with me or just with another staff member that, my job may end at 5 p.m., but ministry doesn't end. And so that's another huge difference I think in Teen Challenge is that just because it's not hours to work doesn't mean we're not working on changing men's lives. one big blessing about coming to Teen Challenge is you don't have to do your own laundry. So this is our laundry room here. As you can see on this list, we have the guys that they're assigned to different rooms. They will come and set their laundry on this table here. Our laundry guy named Charlie, he will wash their clothes, he'll dry their clothes, and he'll fold them at the end of the day and set them back on here. And so it's a huge blessing not to have to do it. I was spoiled. Now I have to do my own laundry, and it's a hard life. We will step on into here. The guys will be watching a movie right now, so we can stick our head in. This is the fellowship hall. This is where we're watching movies on free days, as well as eating all our meals, and their family visits are going on. Back here we have our kitchen, which is full service, and it is an industrial kitchen, and so the same rules apply to this kitchen as any other restaurant. Arizona, they send food safe servers to make sure that everything is up to date and being kept clean. And as well, this is where family visits take place on Sundays, especially when it's 115 degrees outside. We like to have guys in here. All right, we will continue on. As you can tell, we have a basketball court. We also have guys that are out jogging around right now. One thing that guys really want to take care of while they're here is to begin to take care of their physical life as well as their spiritual and emotional life. Yes, kind of like me, as you can tell. And so, not right now because we're about to have dinner, but on Mondays and Wednesdays and Sundays, we're always playing basketball. Guys are running laps to stay physically fit. We'll be going downstairs and seeing the weight pile. How we transport the guys around to different events, to different church services, the banquets that I spoke about earlier. We have a number of different vans. This is our newest one and biggest one. It has 15 seats in it, and so it just allows us to do outreach throughout the entire state. We have 3 other vans that we use on a day-to-day basis for different things, as well as a backup one downstairs if need be. Coming to Teen Challenge is not just about being, coming to being bored, sitting around doing nothing. There is a lot of counseling and a lot of growth that goes along with the program, but there's also a lot of fun. And so, we have our ping pong table, we have a putting green over here, and it's about learning how to have fun again without drugs. For the most part, as I've seen, guys will use drugs when they're bored or to have fun. And in real life, there's so much more fun in the world than doing drugs in one little room. And so that's why we have the ping pong table, a pool table, and all this other stuff to enjoy. As we walk down here, we have our weight pile that guys can go out and get physically fit. We do not want guys to be lifting weights every day. In the real world, if somebody is lifting weights every single day, every time they have the urge to use drugs again, and they lift weights, whenever they have a job someday, that's not going to be a reality. If it's 1 o'clock and you get the sudden urge, you can't just leave work and go lift for an hour and a half and then come back. That's why we want men to learn how to deal with these urges in a healthy way. And not saying that lifting isn't a healthy way, but just in all kinds of different healthy ways. Speaking about the finances that we spoke about earlier, this gentleman here, he has a business. His name's Keith Ames. He is a graduate of the program, and he knew and he learned this through the program that if he went back to the same area, the same barbershop, so to speak, that he was working at, he'd be more likely to use drugs again. And so he saw this area as a potential business, and he now rents that out to Teen Challenge, so that's an income for Teen Challenge. He also works on all the vans, so that keeps the price down, and he is able to speak into the men's lives and even teach other guys that want to learn about automotive industry, teach them different skills. This is our chapel. If it is unlocked, we will go inside and check it out. and it is not, so we will grab the keys in here. As we come around the corner, we're going to go into Blessingdale's thrift store. This is another way that we're able to have funds come into the program to keep the cost down, but then also to keep the program free if there is somebody that can't afford it. Teen Challenge. It is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and what that entails is every donation, whether it be a cash donation, is tax creditable dollar for dollar, much as the school tax credit works, and then any item that is donated is a tax deduction, and so you can actually give back dollar for dollar on your state taxes with that. And so this is Blessingdale's. We can come on in here. We have a transaction going on right now. This first floor is women's clothing, as well as some jewelry, some electronics. Up these stairs up here is men's clothing and kitchenware. The third floor above us is going to be toys, books, DVDs. Yeah, 3 floors. Toys, books, DVDs, movies, all kinds of different knickknacks. And so all this stuff is resold. It's all been donated by individuals here in Tucson, and even further distances. My family from New Mexico, every time they come out, they bring a truckload of stuff because it would be much more, it would be used better here than somewhere else.
Wow, this place has really got it. Forgot to mention my lowly paid intern on the camera. But you're not paying me anything. You're an intern. You work for free like these people. See, you're starting to cough, bro. Cough. Oh, copyright. We have to play this part out. Oh, my favorite part. Let's go.
Right. This here is John Sullivan. He is one of the guys that works here in the thrift store, and he's a key part in not only what takes place in the thrift store, but furthermore, the lives that are changed. His job is to work down here, but his calling is to feed into men in the same way. And so, if you have some questions for him,
Sure.
Let's see.
This place, Teen Challenge, definitely saved my life. I was addicted to drugs for about 25 and a half years, and it took by the power of Christ to pull me away from that. I tried a lot of different drug rehabilitation programs, so it quickly turned my life around when I wanted to. Only when I wanted to, when I lived up to the standards of Christ, do good to others, has come back around, and it's doing that. And you progress into that with leadership roles. I just became an intern, so it's turned my life around, and it's helping me strengthen that so I can do that when I get done with Teen Challenge eventually, that I can continue that walk with Christ afterwards. To lead by example is the key role in my life.
the thrift store, who can come and buy stuff here? Anybody off the streets. We serve daily for homeless people that haven't showered in weeks, sometimes months, to people that have more money than anybody could think of. They come here because they like the program. They come here because they can get help. The name says in itself is Blessingdale's. We can bless them if they need it, and we do that daily. Other than a staff member like yourself and the managers, who else works in the thrift store here?
Well, there's students that definitely like to help out and serve the community, of course, to see it strengthens them with seeing the walks of life that they used to be in. I know there's several students that are in the back. I don't know if you've interviewed any, but the students definitely have a role in their life as a key role. It's great to work with students in that way.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any questions before we continue on?
No, I think we could.
Okay. We doing good on time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we will come back here to the warehouse. Again, Teen Challenge, and I think John just said it himself, it's about changing the lives of the men that are here, but it's about so much more. And so he said that there's people that come in here that don't have hardly anything, and it's about helping the community. We are helping the men that are here to go out after being here and change their community, but it's about helping the community change at the same time. And so all this stuff, there's at times we have a mother that has just moved into the area that they don't have the mattress for their kids to sleep on, and she comes in and she only has $20, and the mattress may cost $60, but rather than turn her away, it's about helping change people's lives, and so we're able to make a deal and work something out with her. So all this stuff here has been donated by families. We have a box truck and a staff member that goes out and does deliveries and pickups, and so it enables even families that don't have the transportation to donate things here, to have the stuff brought down as well. It allows those same families that can't bring the things that they bought home, it allows us to take it to them. It is awesome. We will go back upstairs and we'll check out the classroom. All right. And then as you can see, if you look right here, we have a daily sale. And so people will come based on the day that what they're looking for. With myself coming from Albuquerque, New Mexico, God had me come here because he knew I would automatically feel at home just by being able to walk outside the gates and see the Catalina Mountains, which just reminded me of home and allowed me to feel comfortable and know that I was in a place of love and that I was on the right path. We're located right here on Oracle Boulevard, which is a very busy road here in Tucson. And this area isn't necessarily the nicest. And I think that God has it planned out that way for a reason, because he wants us to be a diamond in the rough. He wants us to be a lighthouse for people that are struggling. There are individuals that have walked by here 100 times in their life, and it wasn't until the day they thought about asking about Teen Challenge that they actually came in and found out that it was a place that they could change their lives. And so that is why I think it is in a location that isn't as nice as some other rehabs. It's so that people that wouldn't normally hear about it can hear about it. We will come over here. We will check out the thrift store that we have. I'm not sorry. We'll check out the classroom. There is a curriculum. And we'll now step into the classroom. This here is where guys will come and finish homework that they have that is assigned to each student before you move on to the next phase of the program, which would be at the Christian Life Ranch. You'll come in here and knock out a couple of different things. It's not homework in the sense of what I grew up knowing homework to be, math, English, science, but two areas. The first is, or the three areas actually, learning and memorizing different Bible verses and how those relate to where we are in life, not just where we were and coming out of an addiction, but to where we are now and where we're going into our future, as well as learning different character qualities such as truthfulness, respectfulness, having a good strong work ethic, and having Bible references that shine light upon that. And then lastly, filling out packets that help us gain tools that will allow us to move forward in life. And do these packets, it allows us to see areas that we might be struggling with emotionally, spiritually, that we wouldn't have seen otherwise. This is a very special room, and just another way that Teen Challenge does all we can to keep the cost low, rather than go out and buy all new desks and pay somebody to come in and redo this room. Our maintenance guy, he went and bought the wood at Home Depot, and we had a church that came and donated their funds as well. They donated their time, more importantly, and they came and repainted. They came and relaid the floor. They helped put the desks together, and so now every time one of those individuals from the church comes here, they always want to come and see the change that's taking place in this room.
Well, another question.
Yeah.
How big of a focus does Teen Challenge have on God? Like, how big of your focus is it on God?
So this is my first and only rehabilitation program, but through my research, before coming to this one, I looked into other ones, and then in the time since graduating the program and learning about other rehabs, this one has 10 times as much of a focus on God. That it's about building a relationship and a foundation on Christ. And once you have that good solid relationship and foundation on Christ, that's when you start to build who you are with that foundation, rather than going to some other places, and a lot of time many other places, and just simply being sober and being away for 3 months where you can't use, and then you go back out into the real world and you haven't dealt with the issues that cause you to use drugs or alcohol. Here, once you've accepted Christ in your heart, He'll be in your heart for the rest of your life. And so that is not just how big of a role it's played, but that is the role. That is what Teen Challenge is founded on.
Well, I got a question. What if someone doesn't believe in God, but they're struggling with an addiction?
Then we allow them to come in just the same. We've had a number of different atheists that have come into the program. A number of different men that have followed the Jewish faith. And then even a couple of gentlemen that followed the Book of Mormon and were Mormons. And so this is about building that foundation with Christ, but that doesn't mean Christ can't still work in your life because you're a non-believer. We believe that God has a unique relationship with every single person, and in the same way that my relationship with my best friend is different than my other friend's relationship with my best friend, the same is with God. God's relationship with me is different than God's relationship with you. And so, and everybody starts somewhere, and we just pray that in their time here, if they do choose to come here, that they do have that experience with Christ. All right, let's continue on. We will stick our head in as we walk by, we'll check out the SSO. This office here, as we finish up, this office is called the SSO, stands for Student Services Office. This is where the staff on duty and the interns, whoever's working that specific day, is really at the forefront of changing men's lives. Anytime somebody has an issue, whether it be big or small, they'll come in here and check with the staff on duty. Today, our staff on duty is Mikey. Hello. And he is a recent graduate of the program. But there's a couple of really key important things in here. Here is a list of all the different guys that are in the program and what rooms they're in. We keep all the medications that we have here kept in our med cabinet, and then in the morning and night, they'll come and sign out the different medications that they want and need. Here we have the different schedules, the staff schedule. We have the thrift store schedule. As you met some of the guys downstairs, this is where they know what days they work, and then the kitchen schedule as well. We have the laundry list, the phone call list again. This board right here is used for allowing men to see the different appointments that they have coming up. As a staff, we all share and use Google Calendar. But this is so that students, because they don't have a cell phone while they're in the program, they know that we know that they have an appointment coming up. whether it be a doctor's appointment, whether it be a court appointment, whatever it may be. So this room is really the forefront of changing men's lives.
So do you just walk in here whenever you want, or is there like a schedule?
There is a schedule, and I will give you the schedule. There is always somebody on duty from 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. And so students can come in here and see whatever it is that they need anytime between then. If there's an emergency or something between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., then the student, they'll go and knock on the intern dorm, which we had seen earlier, and we'll inform them of whatever's going on, and then we'll address it accordingly. So as we walk out the door, you kind of get a good overview of the center. And one last time to answer your question, what is the main difference? This is the main difference. It's Christ. That's why the cross it's the first thing that you see whenever you come in. As somebody is coming in for the first time and dropping their stuff off, they're getting out of the car. This is what they see. And this is a sign of love, a sign of hope, and a sign of change in somebody's life. And it's not about yesterday or any day before that. What we're here about is this day and every day after. So that's Teen Challenge, and I'm so glad that y'all were able to come, and it was a pleasure to show y'all around.
Pleasure to be here.